In this lesson, we are going to be looking at how to configure our DHCP server and also our Windows deployment services. So first thing is let's go configure our Windows deployment services first. So basically go into Tools and click on Windows deployment services. Here it is. Okay. Once you click on that, a new link will start up, so maximize that, and you see we have servers here. So make sure you expand this section, and as you can see we have dev100.techakin.com. expand that and click on it, and right click on that and click on configure server. Okay, once you click on configure server, you can read this information. It may be helpful for you, but I will just it's just telling you that before you begin, ensure that the following requirements are met: that at least on this server you have Active Directory domain services configured, which we already have. Make sure you also have a DHCP server on the network, which we also have. And also because the Windows deployment services use the pre-boot execution, it uses Pixie boot, which relies on DHCP for IP addressing, which is true. Also, make sure there is a DNS on this server. We also remember that we have already added DNS, we added DHCP, and we added Active Directory domain services before. So now, we also have the volume, the system files that I showed you before. I can show you again. It's right here, and there you go. We have files and storage services, and we also have the volume that we added in the beginning. So just click on next, and then select one of the following operations. Did you want to use integrated with Active Directory, or you just want to use a standalone server? In this case, for this project, we're going to integrate our Windows deployment services with the Active Directory domain services. So we're going to click next, and we remote install folder location. The remote install folder location is where this WDS will look into to see whether you have pre-staged images when you're deploying operating systems over the network. Okay, so you can change this if you want to, but I'll just leave it for the sake of our Microsoft deployment toolkit. So click on next, and it said the volume selected is also the Windows system volume, which is okay. So do you want to continue? I'll say yes. So like I said, if you want to change, you can change it. Now, proxy DHCP server. Now, the information here is very, very important. It says if a DHCP is running on this server, you have to check both options, this option. But if it's not, then you have to check only one option. So since we already have a DHCP running on this server, then we're going to leave both boxes checked. Okay, if it's a non-DHCP server, then the first box only should be checked. All right, then the Windows deployment services configuration wizard detected that Microsoft DHCP service is running on this server. Please select from the following options. So we'll just select both two options, and then we'll go and click next. Now the Pixie server initial settings. So this is like an authentication. When the Windows deployment service want to connect to DHCP for an IP address, you need to authenticate. So do you want this WDS to respond to DHCP? So I will say respond to all client computers, whether you know they're known or unknown, and then require administrator approval. So basically on this server, you have to request if a Windows 7 makes a call to these Windows deployment services. I want these services to respond and answer that, okay, I have an IP address that I can give you, and I can also install operating system for you. So once you select respond to all clients and then check require admin approval, go on and click next. And then it's now copying files needed. All the necessary files needed is copied to the WDS, and then it's starting the Windows deployment services. All right, and then also click finish. Now once you've done that, go ahead and do something. right click on this dev, all right, Akin.com, go to all tasks and click on start. You have to start the WDS to keep running, to make sure it's running on this server. So as you can see, successfully started Windows deployment services. Click on OK. Once you click on OK, let's inspect what's in here. You can have install images, basically. You can have boot images. We're going to be looking at the adding boot images from here, like our Windows 7, Windows 8, and Windows 10. We're going to add them here once we get them configured when we get to the Microsoft Deployment Toolkit. So that's that for the Windows Deployment Services WDS. Go ahead and close this out and then go back to the Server Manager. All right. Once you're in the Server Manager, go back to Tools and click on Dhcp so that we can create a new scope of IP addresses. All right. Now expand this, the server itself, and right click again, and then this should show you authorize. Okay, you need to click on authorize to authorize this DHCP server to work. And the same thing, go into the server and expand, and under the server click on IPv4. Okay, and right click on the IPv4 and click on new scope. All right, because now we don't have any scope, so click on new scope. Once you click on new scope, you will see the new scope wizard is now started. Go on and click next, and then give it a name. So we'll just give it TechAkin. We'll call this DHCP services. All right, and click next. Once you click on next, the next page you will see add exclusion and delay. On this page, you don't have to specify, just leave it. I don't want to exclude any IP address, so that's fine for me. I'll just go next, and then lease duration. Yeah, I'm fine with 8 days of lease and 0 hours and 0 minutes. So what that means is I can lease one IP address is for one operating system at least for 8 days. After that 8 days, I can refresh and change it. So go and click on next, and now configure DHCP option. So on this page, it's asking us, do you want to configure this option now, or you want to configure this option later? I will just accept and say yes, I want to configure these options now. I'll click on next, and now the router default gateway. So you also have to go look at your network. You should know your gateway. In the last previous steps, the last 2 previous steps, I specified my default gateway and also my DNS IP addresses. On these Win servers, I'm not going to configure a Win server. I'm just going to leave it as default and go next. And now to activate the scope, say, do you want to activate the scope now, yes or no? And I will now click next. Activate the scope, I'll click next, and I'll click finish. Alright, as you can see, we've now configured our DHCP. We have our 060, which is Pixie boot client. We also have our scope, that's my scope IP, and then the address pool is there, then the lease. There are no leases for now. Any reservations, because we've not connected to this machine to ask for installation yet. And scope option, we have there, all of the options is there. This is our scope option. You can see we have router, we have DNS server, we have DNS domain name, we have our Pixie client. And then once you've done that, then you close that. So in this lesson, what we did was we configured our Windows deployment services, and we also configured our DHCP for Windows deployment services. In the next lesson, we're going to be looking at Microsoft Deployment Toolkit. The tool that we're going to be needing is the Deployment Workbench. Once you install your MDT, it's going to give you this tool. you see a Microsoft Deployment Toolkit. One of the features is the deployment workbench. So if you open this up, you will notice that we now have a Microsoft Deployment Toolkit overview. Please leave a comment below and share and like if you like this tutorial. And I'll see you next time.